happened in our community over the years when union jobs have disappeared out of this community. And they know what union jobs have done to their families and their children in the community. We keep our money in this community. That's what we do. This outfit that came into our community is EGT. What have they given us to our community so far? We didn't get to help build it. They brought out-of-state workers from right-to-work states to come in here and do it. They brought 150 Guatemalans from outside this country to come in here and do that work. When double-digit unemployment was rampant in our community, anywhere from 15 to 18% of those figures were. This is what they've given us to our community so far. You know, they've even used the most favored nation clause into that lease where they came back to the port and said, port pays $250,000 without even one drop of rain from the port to that facility because they view that Skyline Steel that came in on the port's property got a little bit better deal than what they do. This community is given enough to this outfit. They circumvented every union building that place. They brought in out-of-state workers. When you left there and looked at the license plates leaving that facility during construction, there was no license plates from the state of Washington or Oregon. They were from every right-to-work state here. So let's ask ourselves in our community, what have we gotten so far? This place has divided our community totally, and it's turning this community into a colony. That's what we got going here.
Has your passion though taken this beyond peaceful protest? I mean, you're black and trained, and you've got some guys that go after some officers. Anybody's going to be charged with assault for that. I mean, is your passion going too far?
Hey, I'll tell you what, if you look at any tape you want to look at, who's inflicted who on what? It is the police officer that came in on the 7th and took our international vice president to the ground, and you expect us not to react to that? I view Bob McElrath as I would President Obama, President George Bush, or anybody. You better come to his aid, and that's what we did. They claimed that they didn't know who Bob McElrath was the day of the 7th. That is baloney. They knew exactly who he was. 400 people, and they come in to get one person. And that just happens to be our international president, and then Sheriff Nelson makes a statement that they don't know who he is. That's baloney. I'm tired of Sheriff Nelson's continued lies. It's one right after the other. 6 hostages, a lie. Took a guy out of a car and beat him, a lie. We pepper sprayed their police officers. We were unarmed. We didn't have anything.
But you acknowledged yesterday the 2 guys went after the officers and
No, what they didn't go through that. What they did is they come to the aid of women that were being physically abused. That's what's happened. You know, if I did that to my wife, guess what? I'm under a felony for domestic violence. These guys came to the aid of women that were not being treated properly. Pure and simple. Look at the video. And I'll tell you what, in our country, if a guy stands on the sideline and sees some type of abuse to any woman in this country that was treated like those 2 women were, they better come to their aid, and that's what they did, and I think they're heroes, and I appreciate them. That's what our union stands for. Harry Bridges said it a long time ago, an injury to one is an injury to all, and that lives to this day right now. You know, what we're fighting for here is our jobs, our union, our way of life. You know, we live in this community. We've been here for a long time. And I'll tell you what, we are fighting right now for collective bargaining rights throughout this nation that is being under attack right now. You know, look where the money's going in this country right now. The United States has changed from when I was a kid, when I was a teenager. The top 2% are benefiting from everything. They talk about how 400 people own over 50% of the money in this country. The other 98% of the people in this country better figure it out darn fast, because we're tired of it. Working people in this country are tired of it. We've had enough of it. The middle class and the poor is the ones that's putting the burden for everybody in this country. While the rich run around with their whatever they do. You got hedge fund managers. White-collar crime is rampant in this country. You see any of them people doing any time? Heck no. So there's 2 different types of laws in this country. One for the rich and one for the working people and the poor. You know, since Taft-Hartley, what does the workers have for rights in this country anymore? We don't have anything. You know, the laws were wrote by the rich. They were wrote by the corporations. It's not we the people anymore. It's we the corporations. I call it a corporate democracy. That's what we have in this country right now. And the people of this country are fed up with it. They're tired of it. I don't care if it's in Wisconsin, Ohio, Florida, now the state of Washington. The working people of this country are starting to fight back. And that's what we're doing.
are you going to continue to block trains to make your point?
Tim, all I know is the ILWU is not going to back down. We are going to protect our jobs and our rights. That lease agreement's got our working agreement in there. These people come into this community, they knew full darn well what, I mean, so much money is spent on research and marketing. They came in there, they knew exactly what they were getting themselves into. Why did they work for over a year's time with the port to try to get our working agreement taken out of that lease agreement? Time and time again, they wanted it removed. They wanted sentences changed. They wanted words omitted. For over a year they did this. That was their whole thing, is to get rid of the union so they can come in here and set up shop and have a cheap workforce, you know. That's what we're fighting for. We're fighting for our jobs. We're fighting for our jurisdiction. We're fighting for our livelihood. That's what we do in this community. You know, I have a small local, 200 people. We're battling a multinational conglomerate, and now they got foreign interests. This is a foreign company that's come into our county right here, and you can see what's happening.
Are you fighting so hard because there's a deep-seated fear that if you lose this, that it literally could be the end of the longshoreman way of life?
Very possibly so. We know it's going to change the way grains operated in the Pacific Northwest. Bungie used to be here, and that's what we're talking about here. They call themselves EPT. It's not EPT. It's Bungie North America. And if you look at the Security Exchange Commission and just type in Bungie and see where they're at, they're all over the world. They got human rights people that are questioning their tactics in Brazil. You know, slave labor. Argentina's got a lawsuit right now for almost $300 million from 2007, 2009 for a tax evasion of paying their taxes. Looking in the United States here, $13.9 million they had to settle with 8 states for air quality violations. The list goes on and on and on. This is what we're dealing with in our little community here. And now you see what they've done to us. They've divided us. You know, we have not had labor unrest in this community since I don't know how long. I'm 55 years old, and I don't remember it in my lifetime. The ILWU is standing up. We're the beacon of light for every working person in this country right now.
How do you think this is going to end?
I don't know how it's going to end, but I know one thing. The ILWU is not going to stop. We're not going to stop. We're going to protect what we feel is our right, our way of living, and our union. This is about union busting. Pure and simple. That's what it's about. It's about busting a union.
Can we get your name and title?
My name is Dan Coffman. I'm the president of ILWU Local 21 here in Longview.
How do you spell your last name?
COFF.